Hello and welcome to another edition of ProtoBalls Talk. I'm ProtoMet.
This is Barry.
And I'm VeeJay.
Yeah, quite. And today we're taking a look at the second film of the Dario Argento trilogy that we've picked out. It's not really a trilogy, it's just a trio.
It's not a trilogy
It's a trio.
proper.
It's a trio of 3 Dario Argento movies.
Yes, a trio.
Kind of at random, technically.
And the second movie that we are picking today is his most famous film, and that would be Suspiria.
I'm sorry, what was that? Can you...
I'm sorry, Susperia.
No, okay.
I had a lump in my throat, I couldn't get it out.
Get it out. Get it out.
Yeah, Suspiria. This movie, it's wild. This movie came out in 77. Came out 3 years after Deep Red. 2 years after Deep Red.
Ironically, this movie should have been called Deep Red with the color
Yes!
Yeah, something we noted. You could have swapped the titles of the 2 movies and they would have been perfectly fine.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, this movie was, at the very least, named after a series of essays.
Yeah, Suspiria de Profundis.
Yes.
Which is
a deep sigh.
Yeah.
Sighs into the deepness or something. Suspiria translates to sighs, I guess.
Whatever it is, it's mostly just like an essay on witches and the occult. It's really all you kind of need to know about it. I imagine Dario Argento read this and was like, this is good shit.
Wait, so he didn't write this?
No, he didn't.
He did not write this one?
He wrote it, but he based it on the essay.
Oh, gotcha. Like, he wrote the movie, but it's based on...
Yes.
Okay.
It's yeah. It is not a...
It's not an adaptation of the
Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And, well, just like some of the basics, I guess. It is a much shorter movie than Deep Red. And that is saying a lot. It's only 99 minutes compared to the...
Somehow it feels like it's longer, though. At least on this watch through.
Yeah.
It might have been the ad breaks.
That's true. We were watching it on Tubi, and there were some ad breaks, but I didn't think they broke it up that much.
Yeah, I don't think they broke it up.
I think they were nicely placed.
They were.
They took the ad breaks took place between scene transitions. I can't talk.
No, you can't.
The fatal flaw of this podcast.
Oh no! I'm barely in this one because I can't talk.
The casters can't even speak. Spoiler alert, we're all mimes.
Oh my god.
Mr. Mime!
Mr. Mime!
We've gone off the rails.
We haven't even started talking about the movie proper.
No.
Let's reel it back in.
So this is the first in what would become known as the Mother's Trilogy?
I thought it was the Three Witches Trilogy.
Trilogy.
I don't know.
I forget.
I honestly didn't do any research on this one like I did the last one because I couldn't be bothered with this film.
I guess I ended up doing more research than you did. And that was cursory at best.
And we stand corrected. Daria Nicolodi is not in this movie, but she did do the screenplay. So she is still involved in this movie. Which is a shame, because I would have loved to see her in this movie, just to see what kind of role she would have done. She probably could have done Miss Tanner, one of the characters, but that
character that is one of the characters. That is so helpful in me remembering who that is. It's like my favorite character, Rock Lee, that character in Naruto.
That one character?
Yeah, that one character in Naruto.
She's the vice. She's the vice.
Vice headmaster?
Yes.
To be fair, I don't remember like anybody's names in this movie. It's
Susie.
You're Susan.
Is it Susie? I don't even remember that.
Susan. There's Sarah.
Olga.
I remember Olga. Wait, no, that was Deep Red.
That was Helga.
I give up.
You say Olga, and my immediate thought is to add it right before Gurlukovich from Metal Gear Solid 2.
Olga Gurlukovich. Now that...
Like, I know there are other Olgas, but in my mind, that is my go-to Olga.
Now she would have fit right in, alongside Psycho Mantis. Psycho Mantis could have fit in this movie somehow.
Yeah, probably.
You're not wrong.
I don't know. He doesn't have the color scheme. He's missing the color.
That's a point. That's a fatal flaw. You got to get out of now.
Hold on. The other thing is, we don't know how good a ballet dancer he is.
Oh, I mean, he can float. So like,
well, he can float.
The best ballet dancer.
The movie stars Jessica Harper as the main character and a few other Italian names that really.
For the record, the main character's named Susan.
The main character's named Susan. There's also a Joan Bennett. This is her last film appearance. For those of you who don't know who Joan Bennett is, she is a star of the silent film era. So she is old school. She's older than color.
Oh, wow. No, she's older than sound.
Older than sound, yeah.
Going on a little digression, did you guys know people used to dream in black and white? And it wasn't until the invention of the color TV that they started dreaming in color.
Good lord. What?
I don't know if that's true or not, but...
once again, we get wonderful music by Goblin. We'll speak about that more at length. But, the Three Mothers, the Mothers trilogy, which is followed by Inferno and The Mother of Tears, 2 movies that we're not doing, and the third one that
it's predominantly because of The Mother of Tears that we're not doing all 3.
Yeah. In a word, it's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad.
It's bad. Inferno's alright, but he's bad. Mother of Tears.
So, for a quick synopsis, the film begins with Susie Banyan arriving in Germany, actually.
I figured it was Germany.
Yeah, Baden-Württemberg, Germany.
In the middle of a pouring storm. Like, it is coming down pretty hard, and that's actually a plot point.
That is a plot point. And she's arrived because she's coming to a Tanz Dance Academy, as it's called. It's a sort of ballet school for gifted students. And I don't really see it doing much else. I mean, how old are these kids? They've got to be in their early 20s, right?
Teens, 20s.
Well, I'm sure the actors are older.
I'm sure the actors are adults. Because
as we all know, no child can actually appear in movies. They have to be adults. That's why... That's why all teenagers are actually in their 30s.
Jessica Harper was definitely in her mid-20s, though, during this film. That said, she takes a taxi to the school, and she arrives, and she's just witnessing another
student leaving.
And it's worth noting that there's like heavy rain. It's storming out.
So, despite the fact that this other student is saying something, not to Susie, but to somebody inside the building, but Susie can't make out most of it.
She just beats it out of there. She fucking hauls ass away from the school.
She's visibly upset, and she's having none of it.
And the student's name is Pat Hingle, by the way. That's not revealed until later. So Pat... Susie is not allowed in. She's not let into the school for whatever reason.
Well, she goes to the call box, and she says, "Hey, it's Susie. I've arrived. I got your letter.
Go away. We don't want you here anymore.
Oh, okay.
Get out of here.
Are you sure? Yeah, you sent me a letter.
Leave.
Okay, bye."
Yeah, so she goes back and she sees Pat Hingle going through the woods.
Does this ever explain where she goes back to? I'm assuming the airport, because where else would she stay? She doesn't have room on board yet.
I assume she
or the embassy or whatever it would be.
Either an embassy or a hotel.
Okay.
Okay, well,
I mean, I guess she's well off that she's going to a
hotel.
So a hotel would make sense.
She's not completely desolate. She looks
like
looks like she looks upper middle class.
I mean, the fact that she was allowed to go to a dance school
in Germany,
and she's American,
and it was like fully paid for, wasn't it?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah,
in her first semester at least.
Just wild. But that said, Pat arrives at a friend's house, and she is shaken.
But she refuses to say anything about why she's shaken.
This is the same complaints we had with Deep Red, where, like, you've got the people, and they know what's up, and they're just not talking.
But at least in this instance, they weren't not talking because they felt they had something to gain from it. In this one, she's just literally too terrified to say anything.
Yeah, I think she's paranoid.
Yeah.
She's worried that, like, her life is in danger.
Mm-hmm.
Which it is. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. She goes to the bathroom, and the window just cracks wide open because of the wind.
Now, did we mention that she left the school?
Yes.
She got expelled.
She got expelled.
And she went to a friend's place.
And
A friend's like apartment. Yeah.
It's an apartment building, and she's just like, I gotta leave. I gotta get out of here as soon as I can in the morning.
Okay.
Like, I need to leave. She's very adamant about leaving, skipping into the night. But her friend's like, hey, just, stay the night. Whatever, and if you gotta leave in the morning...
She reluctantly agrees to, and she's offered a bath to get cleaned up, because it's a pretty big storm. She'll probably get a bit dirty on the way there.
Yeah, considering she ran through the woods all the way from...
Yeah. She goes to the bathroom because she's gonna wash up and whatever, because she's all drenched and soaked.
Window blows open.
Yeah, blows open because of the wind, and her friend's just like, God, you're really spooked, aren't you?
It's like, you sure you don't want to talk about it?
No, I don't want to talk about it. And so
her friend shuts the window and
leaves to give her some privacy.
And Pat locks the door behind her, and she stares out the window. She stares out the window. She stares out the window.
And then eyes.
And then eyes appear.
And it's worth noting that this isn't like a ground floor window. This is like maybe second. It's near roof.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's top of the building.
And she is attacked through this window.
Arm reaches through the window, shattering it. And...
I will say, I have a sneaking suspicion of who it might be. I'm not going to say it now. I'll say it
when we get to the spoilery section.
When we get to the spoiler stuff.
Okay.
I have a sneaking suspicion of who it might be because of just the way the arm looked.
And this kickstarts the movie, and probably the best scene in the movie, or at least the most iconic.
She is pulled up to the roof of the hotel, and
her friend is desperately trying to wake up anybody in the apartment building because she's like, there is a murder going on. I need help, like, right now, please.
Like, the only thing she can assume about the situation is that her friend's life is in danger, which it is.
Mm-hmm. And it is like a very brutal death.
She gets stabbed repeatedly.
If you've played Clock Tower, you know exactly what this scene is.
Oh yeah, this scene was definitely this was the scene they lifted this from.
Yes.
Oh, for sure. Like, it is practically 1-to-1. But she gets stabbed so much that her heart is actually exposed. Yeah. And that too is stabbed, and that is a great effect.
They're still beating heart with a knife in it. That's just really visual. And it's also worth noting, we haven't really gotten into it, but this movie is like, if you distilled Technicolor into like its purest form.
It is a
very colorful movie.
It's a very bright film. It's
very bright, vibrant film.
And I think, to be honest, I think what Dario Argento was going for was, I can make a scary film and still have it be colorful.
Oh, it's a gorgeous film.
And I can prove it because it's bright out, just because it's daytime, just because it's bright, doesn't mean you can't be scared. And he does very well.
It's like in the mid-2000s when like every video game all of a sudden started having like drab colors of like just gray and dark browns and slightly brighter browns.
To put it into perspective, it's like if every game took from Silent Hill 1 but took the worst visual aspects of it and just copied it into every single one. Oh, Silent Hill, it has a lot of brown, it has a lot of orange. let's make it a dark brown.
And then We Happy Few came out.
What? Yeah, like years later. That's a piss poor analogy.
I'm just saying, by comparison.
I mean, yeah, I guess it took many years for them to
just using it as an analogy. I'm not saying that's actually what happened. I'm just saying.
I think the problem is horror films have not yet gotten out of that.
Yeah, like you get your standard horror film and it's like dark
grimy
rooms.
And then Midsummer came out and it was like that is how you do horror in daylight. That one's a very also well done film.
But anyway, Pat is so brutalized that she ends up falling through the hotel's skylight.
Well, not before the killer decided to wrap some cabling or wire or something
around her torso.
Some sort of cable that was affixed to the roof.
That visual of her hanging there.
She falls through the skylight. The cord around her torso loosens up enough so that it ends up going up and hangs her.
And she's straight up dead.
And it's worth just going back just a few frames, just like because this skylight is like a stained glass skylight, and it's decorative, and the first thing that goes through is her head. So she's laying on top of this skylight, and there's a hole where her head is peeking through, and like you get this nice long like camera shot of like from the ground floor up, and you're viewing it from like a spectator's view, and it's just really, really brutal but
fascinating,
beautiful. It's hard to describe.
It's a very fascinating scene, and I'm very curious like how they shot it, because I can't imagine it's a set. Mm-hmm. Right, it's obviously a set. I'm trying to think how they would have shot that, how they would have, if it was to scale, which it wasn't. It probably wasn't. They probably pulled the camera out and zoomed it out, hyper zoomed it out, so it looked like it's farther away than it actually is. So it's like the skylight isn't exposed as like a fake.
Yeah, I don't know how they.
The film. Say what you will about Dario Argento, his filmography is just amazing.
Yes, guy knows how to work a camera. Guy knows how to light a set.
Yeah.
So long story short, Pat is dead.
Her friend is dead
because she not only got glass strewn on her, but also pieces of the framing of the stained glass skylight
right through her face too.
Ugh.
Yeah,
like she, if it didn't hit her face, she probably had a chance to survive. But the glass going through her face is what killed her.
And I love that this scene is a statement that like this is what kind of movie Suspiria is going to be. Like this is Suspiria summed up. I mean,
right.
Unfortunately, it doesn't really capitalize on that.
I will say
this is the most memorable scene in the movie for a reason.
Yes.
For a reason.
I will say, though, there is a scene later on in the movie I think that is just as iconic.
I think there's two or three good scenes in this movie that are definitely, like, this is Suspiria. But, I mean, this scene right here. This scene is the one scene.
And if all you came for was this scene, yeah, you can turn off the movie now.
Yeah. It's not really going to get much better than this, unfortunately.
Yeah, I honestly thought that it was going to happen later in the movie, so I was a bit surprised at how early it was.
All right, because you hadn't seen this movie yet.
Right.
You were aware of this scene. That's how iconic it is.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say this movie has worse pacing than Deep Red, and Deep Red had awesome pacing.
Mm-hmm. It's hard to come off the back of Deep Red and watch this movie. We should have watched Suspiria first.
We probably would have been we probably would be more favorable to it, though.
Mm-hmm.
It is what it is. Just not much you can do about it. So Susie comes back the next morning
to the dance academy,
right? And she meets Miss Tanner.
She is allowed in now, and even the the headmistress of the academy is surprised that she had been turned away.
And
she was surprised that she didn't arrive last night, though Susie explains what happened.
The other thing I will say, I was wrong. Miss Tanner is one of the Italian actresses. Madame Blanc, the deputy headmistress, is Joan Bennett. So Miss Tanner, she's the head instructor, and she comes off with big bitch energy.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
She
It
comes
reminds me of oh god, what was her name in the movie Matilda?
Yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
The headmistress in Matilda.
of the orphanage.
Or...
No, I think it's just a school.
Oh, okay.
Because Matilda isn't an orphan.
Right.
You're thinking of Madeline.
I am thinking of Madeline, aren't I? Right.
You know, for a second I was like, wait, is it Matilda or is it... No, wait, yeah, it is Matilda because the one with the orphan...
I'm not gonna lie, I haven't seen either movie, but I've read, I've heard...
You've absorbed it through pop culture.
Yes.
Osmosis.
Osmosis, but yeah, as Madeline, you know, I know about the Roald Dahl version and just how fucked up that is.
Matilda.
Matilda.
Not Madeline.
Oh, Madeline. Oh.
See, you're getting it all mixed up.
Ah, God! See what I mean?
Yep.
Like, they're both... I don't know. They're both kind of
They're not even that comparable. They just have oddly similar names.
I guess.
That it's possible to get the two confused. They are
Matilda, yes. The Roald Dahl version. That one's fucked up. That was what I was... Anyway.
Moving forward.
Read that.
Okay, no, hang on. Now that we've stopped again. So, we've got Miss Tanner.
Yes.
Who is the main instructor.
The head instructor.
Then you've got Madame Blanc,
Madame
who
Blanc.
is the vice headmistress.
Yes, deputy headmistress.
And then you've got the headmistress, who is out of town.
Yes, she's
at this point in the
she's
story?
apparently out of the country at the moment.
Okay.
And,
Right.
and then she's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry about it. She's out of the country. You probably won't meet her for a while."
And those are like the
I
three.
didn't even know there was a main headmistress. I thought
Yeah, it's briefly mentioned that
it
there's a
adds nothing to
headmistress
the
who's out of the
story,
country.
though.
It's kind of important.
it kind of pops up later, but I mean, you wouldn't need to know. All you'd need to know is that there's a headmistress and they're not here right now to greet you.
Yes.
And that, yeah. We'll get into that later.
And then so Madame Blanc is also speaking to some policemen because Pat Hingle has just been murdered.
Well, the night before.
And Susie
Right.
Susie was like, "Oh, I saw her." And everyone's like, "What the fuck? What?
You what?
Yeah, I saw her leaving."
Can you give us some intel?
She gives the police as much information as she has, which is not a whole lot.
Yeah.
So,
Basically, the only information she really gives is the time of her departure.
which
From the
coincides with
premises.
what the
Yeah.
with what the owner of the academy tells them.
The vice head. I don't.
The deputy headmistress.
Deputy headmistress.
Madame Blanc. All right.
Is that the one with like the nephew or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Deputy headmistress, and then the
There's
head
Miss Tanner.
teacher.
There's Madame Blanc, and yeah.
Yeah.
They're straight in my mind. It's just
Okay, so there's Miss Tanner, there's Madame Blanc, and then there's Madame Blanc's nephew, Albert.
There's Madame Blanc, the deputy headmistress.
Yes.
There's Miss Tanner, the head teacher. Okay.
Okay. And then there's Albert, who is Madame Blanc's nephew.
Yes.
And then they're also introduced to Pavlos.
Forgot about Pavlos.
And this Tanner just buries him. Put it into wrestling terms. She fucking buries him.
I feel bad for this guy.
I don't.
Is this the
I mean, initially, I feel
Okay,
bad for
yeah.
this guy.
is this the Lurch guy?
Yes, this is the
Okay.
Lurch guy.
Yarp.
Yarp.
I don't know. I think she was into him.
What?
What? Who was Susie?
No! No, Tanner!
What the fuck?
The way she speaks about him.
You know, now that you say that, you might actually that might have been some subtext that I just completely missed. You might be onto something there.
Like, she spoke as though she was into him. For as weird as he looked.
Yeah, she was like, yeah, he's Romanian, doesn't speak a lick of English, and he's ugly as shit.
Also, he's just got some new teeth. They look fantastic.
Thumbs up.
Yeah, no, I totally ship him.
She's such a bitch! And that's what makes it amazing.
See, my impression was that she obviously, like, she was trying to keep, like, a smile on her face because she knows this guy can't understand her. But that doesn't make any sense. Well, I guess they can speak Romanian. I don't know. She was speaking in English, so I'm assuming that she was pretending to say nice things to him while secretly just incinerating him.
And that's not what it seemed like to me.
Okay, well,
It's different.
it's up for interpretation.
I guess.
I guess.
But, you know, Miss Tanner introduces Susie to everybody, all the students. And we're introduced to Sarah and Olga. And
Susie is also informed that she, for the time being, has to live with Olga. Though if she wants to, she's allowed to stay at the academy.
Once her room's ready. Once her room
Yes.
is ready.
She
She has
also-
to spend the first night away.
she also has to, like, pay for her room.
Or at least that's what Olga tells her.
Right, but it's later revealed that the first semester has already been paid for.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure at this, Olga's introduction is kind of setting up that some of the other girls can be kind of bitches to new girls.
Right.
So
she's
she's not actually.
She's
just trying to grift Susie out of some money.
Right.
Because there's this one girl who's trying to sell Susie some dance shoes.
Oh, and when we say a bitch, we're not saying like it in the derogatory sense. We're saying it in like the stereotype sense. In like, you know, that there's in just about every like teen horror slasher flick, there's
Just
always
a
the
catty
bitchy
bitch.
one.
Like a catty bitch. Oh, she is such
and that's
a
half
bitch.
and that's half the cast.
That's like half the cast of this movie.
I was going to say though, it's sort of mentioned, as it were, that not all the students live at the academy.
Olga, for example.
Olga, for example, they live in like hotels or apartments, off site. Mm-hmm. So they're, I guess what they're saying is Susie has to live with Olga for a little while until she can move into the academy, or you know, whatever the fuck she wants, whatever.
Right.
Susie is also introduced to a good-looking boy. I don't remember his name.
A real good-looking boy.
His name is not revealed. He's just one of the guys.
Yeah.
Let's call him Frank.
Yeah. Let's go with that.
Unless there's already a Frank, then we'll call him Steve.
Like, I legitimately thought this character was going to have
There
a
is already
bigger
a Frank.
role in
God
the
damn it.
Oh, no! Not Frank! There we go.
Not Frank.
That works.
False Frank.
I think it's Mark is his name.
Okay.
Mark or Daniel.
But
Daniel's the piano player.
Yeah, yep. So it's Mark.
Okay, it's got to be Mark.
I honestly thought Mark was going to have a larger role in the movie, but
I do love that Olga and Sarah, they fucking hate each other. And they have a fight right in front of Susie.
like right in front of Susie.
with the implication that that Americans with S names are like snakes.
Suspiria. And that's how it got its title.
Oh, boy! Hey!
But it's later revealed that Olga is just messing around.
Yeah, because once Susie is kind of settled in, she's actually quite
She's actually
cordial to-
yeah, she's kind of mellow.
Yeah.
But,
To the point of even ignoring a phone conversation with a friend to kind of gossip with Susie at one point.
and then the next day, Susie's walking down the hall and she comes across Albert and one of the matrons taking care of him. And she has this weird experience I'm not sure how to explain it.
It looks like the matron is like polishing a mirror or something, and then she just takes it and like reflects light right into Susie's eyes.
It's really weird. And they're both staring they're staring daggers at her.
Yep.
And it's just, my question is, why her of all people, you know?
Why Susie?
Yeah.
I think that is the biggest problem with this movie, is that it's never really explained why they decide to target Susie.
Yeah.
If she's even being targeted, for that matter.
Mm-hmm. It might just be happenstance, and she's just noticing shit that she shouldn't.
Could be.
But, she hurries up and goes off to the first dance lesson, and Miss Tanner is not hearing any of her complaints because she's not feeling well.
Oh, yeah, because getting a solar flare in your eye, it kind of gave her a migraine.
Akin to one, yeah.
And she does do her level best to try dancing, but she ends up collapsing mid ballet.
And Miss Tanner has the look not of somebody concerned, but of somebody who's like,
"Oh, come on!"
Yeah, just fucking.
You can't even beat level 1. What the hell, dude?
She has the look of Principal Skinner in that one meme. Weak.
Well, apparently, she took enough of a tumble that she's actually bleeding from the nose and mouth.
Well, yes.
It might be the migraine. Who knows?
Might be the migraine.
But she's incapacitated. She's in bed. She's bedridden for a while.
I think the scene where she recovers in bed
Yeah.
does offer the explanation for why she was bleeding. It was just something about.
I can't remember.
I cannot remember.
There was an explanation, and it was a reasonable one. I just can't remember specifically what it was.
Right.
But she was attended to by, Dr. Ludovico?
I believe that's his name. I'm not going to look it up.
Either that or I'm
It's the
pulling
only
that name from somewhere else.
Either way, this doctor, he only shows up in the one scene, so he's not a super important character.
That said, we also find out that she's kicked out of Olga's apartment. So
Basically.
Oh, she got kicked. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. She was kicked out of Olga's apartment.
Yeah. Well, Olga came and
I think this was later. I think they made her stay at the school for the first night to...
No, I think while she was recovering, Olga brought her stuff to the school.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, she got fucking kicked out, so she had to...
Although it's debatable as to whether or not Olga actually kicked her out, or if...
Mind you,
or if there's some other ulterior...
Mind you, there was
happening.
an additional scene in between all this where Madame Blanc's like, "All right, Susie, your room's ready," and Susie's like, "Nah, I'm good.
I'll stay with Olga.
Olga." And Madame Blanc's like,
She seems furious. She seems like she's fuming.
She is visibly upset.
She is being super passive aggressive.
Yeah.
"Hey, whatever you say."
It's like, whatever. You could stay wherever you want. You can stay wherever you want. I don't even care. I don't even care. You can stay wherever you want.
It's not like I like you, Baka.
Fuck off! Go away! No. Why?
It's just that kind of energy. I feel.
And yeah,
Are you saying Madame Blanc's into Susie?
Are you saying she's not?
Everybody's into everybody in this movie.
Everybody.
It explains so many of the plot holes. I'm understanding this movie in a new light.
Oh my god. Good lord.
But for the time being, Susie is put on a strictly regimented diet to help her recover, which includes wine.
Mm-hmm. And it's right about here where a lot of the movie starts to get explained more. So I feel we should cut off at this point. Basically, something happened with Susie.
Yeah, this is our
cut off point. Like with Deep Red, we're not going to go into the plot details, except unlike the Deep Red one, we actually are. But that's going to be the spoilery section.
Yeah, we're going to save that until later in the podcast.
That's actually something that VeeJay suggested we do after the last one.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
That
we'll clearly announce when we're going to get this, the spoiler discussion. So anybody that wants to stick around and doesn't really care about
That-
spoilers, which, I mean, they're not really a big deal in this film.
That said, what do we like about the film?
The visuals.
The colors, Duke, the colors!
I'm colorblind, kid.
I don't care!
Yeah, the visuals are probably the most striking thing about this film. And, we gotta talk about it. The remake.
I haven't seen it.
I haven't
can't
either.
say anything. Can't say anything about
Oh, I can say a lot about the remake.
it. Did you?
I've seen like some of the reviews saying that it's not good.
I've heard the opposite. I've heard that it is good, but it's not Suspiria.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If you're gonna remake Suspiria, keep it colorful. What the remake did was it turned it into the 2000s horror movies, except just mostly red. A dark, tainted red.
Deep red?
Yes. It loses the charm of what Suspiria had. Because Suspiria has charm. A lot of charm.
Its color definitely gives it a distinct identity.
Yikes.
Okay, so on Rotten Tomatoes, it's sitting at a 6.9 out of 10, which is passable.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
it's not certified or anything.
I mean, yeah.
I digress.
It's just... That's why this film... This film has charm. Because it's so colorful and visually striking and very pleasant to watch.
Like I said, it gives this film its identity.
Mm-hmm. It's a very...
distinct film.
Yeah.
Can I talk about something I didn't like?
Yeah.
For the most part, the dub... Am I using that
Yeah,
correctly?
dub.
The dub is it dub or dubs? Anyways, the dubbing in this film is all right, but all of like the important plot dump scenes, they just seem to be like quieter than they really should be. It's really hard to make out what people are saying.
I think it's because in certain scenes they're whispering because they don't want other...
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on.
They don't want other people to hear.
Right. So all of the scenes that have plot dumps is somebody hushed in a corner going, "Hey, this is what's going on. You need to listen to me." Yeah.
Right. I mean, you're not wrong.
Kind of makes the plot hard to follow.
I
in
will,
some
and
regards.
like another thing I didn't like about the film was the pacing. The pacing is just all over the place. It is just not very good. I don't know about you guys. I just watching it, it's just like, God damn, this movie's taking forever.
It did feel like it was taking forever. I don't think the pacing is terrible, though. I just think it has some issues, some minor issues. I mean, considering this is a shorter film than
Right.
Deep Red.
Just a lot of plot holes in this movie. There's a lot of things that just don't make sense.
The more I've
Yeah.
watched this movie, the more I have questions. Like, I loved it on my first watch, and then my second watch was like, okay, this is still really good. And
Yeah,
I think this is my third or fourth watch of it now, and I don't know. It might have been spoiled to me at this point.
I kind of agree with that. Now, I want to go into more detail, but I'll do that in the spoilery section
Right,
because
sure,
of
sure.
how spoilery it is. But it's something I can agree with.
I think the more you watch it, the more tainted it becomes, because the first time you watch it, it has all the shock value, and it's like, whoa, what the fuck is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And the more you watch it, it's like, okay, but that doesn't make sense. It's still a great movie.
Yeah, there's a lot of why in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Characters that we liked. I think every character was pretty likable. For the
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
part.
I don't think any of the characters were necessarily.
I think Sarah was probably the best character in the movie because she actually moved the plot along.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, she did.
I'm just trying to think if there's any characters I don't like. You know what? I feel like the nephew. Was it Albert?
Albert. Yeah.
I feel like he's just kind of there.
Yeah.
He's just kind of there, and he's like
really only
he's not super crucial to the plot, but he's kind
got
of
like
important.
2 moments in the entire movie where he's actually relevant, and even then,
I feel like there could have been more done with that character,
right.
especially for how kind of eerie of a character he is.
One of his scenes is important, sort of kind of highlight what the fuck's wrong. We'll talk about that later. It has to do with Daniel,
the blind pianist.
blind pianist.
So we didn't mention it at this point, but he was there during the scene where Susie collapses.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he had been introduced earlier with his dog, his seeing eye dog.
Such a good pup.
Mr. Cooper Dog.
So good pup. But not really many other characters that we like. There's not a lot of characters in this movie.
Okay, so I mean, there's no like bad characters,
No.
but are there any standout characters?
I particularly like Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel's great in like the 2 scenes that he has.
I think Daniel's all right. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a standout.
I don't think he's a
character, but
standout character.
I think he was well acted.
I guess in terms of the not main cast, he's my favorite of the supporting
The
cast.
problem with Suspiria, I think, is it's one standout character, Pat Hingle, fucking dies in the first 15 minutes. And it's like, okay, you killed your supposed main character. What the fuck?
You psychoed it. Well, I mean,
You psychoed it.
I don't think that really is fair to say.
No.
She's barely developed as a character.
No.
I mean, you would.
But
You would think they'd do more.
But
with
she's
her,
the most important character in the story.
It's really her demise that ends up
causing everything.
causing the plot to move forward.
I will be right back.
So
You
in that
guys
regard,
talk among
she is
yourselves.
kind of important.
Yeah, I think she's the most important character in the film, but not the most. She's
Fleshed
not
out.
She's not the most fleshed out.
But out of the main cast, is there anybody?
I mean, Susie's pretty alright. I think Sarah's,
I kind of got to go with Sarah on this one too.
Okay, so Sarah was the other girl.
American girl.
The other American girl. Okay.
Patty's friend.
I mean, I guess so, but like it just bugs me that like she knew way more than she was
Initially letting on.
Yeah, and like
I can kind of understand.
It's again that complaint I have where you have these characters that they know stuff and they're not saying anything.
Just kind of reminds me of Kamen Rider Fights. Like 90% of the conflicts in that series could have just been avoided if people talked to each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one of the reasons why I really don't like that particular season of Kamen Rider. Like it's just so much angst.
Too much angst, not enough. Too much talk, not enough walk. I guess as far as main cast characters though, that stand out to me is it's Miss Tanner. Like she's the.
I have a question for both of you. What is your favorite scene in the movie?
I mean, come on, we already went over this.
I have a different one though. I probably have a different one compared to you two, and it's near the.
I'm pretty sure I know which scene you're talking about, and
right.
I think it's a groovy ass scene.
Oh my god, yes.
But it's hard to top that.
It's hard to top.
It's also a really short scene.
Mm-hmm. I just for as an aside, the scene I'm talking about, I'm not going to reveal it
yet.
It was on Bravo's top 100 scariest movie.
It was briefly mentioned, but the moment the
moment they picked was actually the
right
scene.
But I remember watching this. I was like, so that Bravo's list was about 2004, 2005.
Yeah, it's an old ass list, but
and
if you've seen it, it was good TV.
It introduced me to a lot of movies I had never heard of. So.
I was like 6, 7 years old, and seeing the Suspiria trailer with the skull turning around.
Which, by the way, that's not even in the movie. Go check that. That's
movie.
a really good like theatrical trailer, if that's what it is.
I was like, what? Oh my god!
Especially with like the lady singing. Yeah, no, that's a good. That is a good trailer. I like that one.
That's
I
scary.
have got to see that again because I barely remember it.
I have it. It's on YouTube. It's like the full thing.
Remind me to check that out when we're done.
Oh yeah, that's.
But, yeah, I remember.
I wish the movie had opened with that. Like,
oh my
like,
god, yeah.
Just that would have been like the title screen.
I remember, 6, 7 years old, and seeing that for the first time scared me fucking shitless. Just like that time you showed me Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time. I couldn't sleep for fucking weeks.
When was this?
Oh, this was back when I was 8, 9.
Okay.
And he showed me fucking dead-ass Nightmare on Elm Street, the first movie. Like,
I mean, that's a badass movie, but maybe not for an 8-year-old.
no.
I was a dumb teenager.
Oh, shush you.
I just remember, like, being scared shitless throughout that movie, too. And I'm just like, you fucking asshole! How could you do this to me?
To be fair, that was kind of a deal in our family.
Right. Nowadays...
We kind of grew up with, like, horror movies and horror games.
See, the thing is, nowadays, I watch Nightmare on Elm Street 1, and I have a ball. It's a fucking funny movie.
I think part of the reason why we were immune to it was because growing up in the 90s, we had a lot of exposure to Jason and Freddy just as pop culture characters.
Right.
Even without having seen the movies. Mm-hmm. So we just of assumed that...
They made those characters acceptable for kids. They made video games. They made toys. Yeah.
As an aside, not related to Suspiria.
An aside to the aside?
An aside to the aside. The Nightmare on Elm Street NES game, pretty good. Pretty good. Alright? I will not have any hate over it. It is a fine game. It is a fine platformer.
As an aside to your aside, here's an aside. The Friday the 13th. Wait, which one did you say?
I said Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Friday the 13th, that's also a good game.
That one's also a fine game once you
can grok how it works.
Yeah, I would love to talk about the Friday the 13th game sometime. It's like
I'm not preventing you. I mean, maybe right now.
Alright, the Suspiria podcast is canceled. Here we go. Friday the 13th, the video game.
But, it's kind of, like, I get the confusion over it. It's a very confusing game at first, but once you can get a handle on things, it's fine. I don't get the hate for them.
I don't either. I always... The thing I always hear is like, oh, the camera's confusing. I can't figure out how to move on the map. No, if you just take the idea, you get the idea that the camera's on the outside of whatever path you're on. Mm-hmm. It'll always, your left and your right will always be correct.
Mind you, I say they're fine games, but then, I unironically think, oh, I enjoy Shaq Fu, so, I mean, what's the problem here?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Right?
But yeah, it was that kind of pop culture widespreadness of those characters that kind of made me think, oh, you'd like this movie. Mm-hmm. Because you're familiar with Freddy.
But yeah, the scene I'm thinking of, the scene I'm thinking of is on that list, and I think it's briefly mentioned, but it is not that one.
Okay.
It is such a fucking gnarly scene.
Oh, you're talking about Suspiria. I thought you were still talking about Nightmare on Elm Street.
No.
For a point of reference, I stuck my arms out like Freddy does when he's walking down the alleyway.
No.
When he's got the huge long arms. Okay.
That's a great scene.
Yes.
And I love Freddy's...
But I gotta give it to the Blood Geyser.
The Blood Guy killing Johnny Depp. I mean,
wait, which movie are we talking about now?
Friday. We're talking about Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street edition.
Oh, okay.
Oh, are we talking about the NES hack?
On Halloween only?
Yes.
Oh, God.
Freddy vs. Jason, the NES game.
We've completely fallen off the podcast.
Back to Suspiria. That scene is on the list, alright? That's the point I wanted to make.
Admittedly, yeah, I recognize it from the list as well when it popped
And
up.
It is a fucking gnarly scene.
Yeah.
I think it's the crescendo of the film. But we'll talk about that when we get there. Well, gosh, what other generalities do we need to cover over this? We haven't talked about the music.
Goblin's back at it, and yeah, the soundtrack is
It's not like super duper prog rock like Deep Red is. It's not.
I feel that it's a lot the opening theme.
It's a
leitmotif.
I kind of feel that it overuses it a bit. I mean, I get
right.
why they use it when they use it, but could have been a bit more varied.
This is the in between Deep Red and Dawn of the Dead. This is very much the in between for them, because Dawn of the Dead is Suspiria but amped up.
It almost seems like for Susperia they recorded not recorded, but they wrote one song for Suspiria and then recorded 8 different takes of it, like 8 different arrangements of it.
Oh, you mean like Clock Tower?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, I love Clock Tower. It's my favorite game of all time, but it's got the same song.
The distinction here is that Clock Tower's music is awesome. It's bone chilling. That one song is just it's the bomb. It's great. Whereas
great.
Suspiria is just like.
Also, Clock Tower is a video game, and you can get away with reusing its music.
Right.
All video games reuse their music.
Here's the thing. The Suspiria theme is a leitmotif. It's meant to be repeated. I think they use it a little too much.
Yeah,
but,
it's a bit oversaturated.
Yeah.
But as a theme, I think it's great.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think it's an alright theme. I definitely would put it on a Halloween playlist.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely fits the theme of the film too.
God, it's
in the way that this is more of a supernatural tale than like a Deep Red was.
This is gonna sound weird. This is Dario Argento attempting Deep Red, but with a supernatural twist.
And
Sort of falling flat on his ass, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a great movie. It's just like you kind of failed to do what you were attempting, if that's what he was attempting.
So we've been kind of negative on this movie up to this point, with a few exceptions. This is definitely a fantastic film.
Oh, yeah.
I don't mean to shit all over this film. This movie, I would highly recommend people watch this movie.
Oh, definitely.
When you know what's happening, because it can be kind of confusing on a first watch through, but on a second watch through, it makes a lot more sense.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't all that confused. Like, going by what you guys were saying, you guys were saying that the plot is confusing or not presented in a way that it's presented in a way that leaves you confused.
Yes,
but I didn't really feel like that.
I think it drives forward more.
Like I had a full grasp of what was going on, especially once things got explained.
It's my questions and where the plot falls apart for me is not like what is going on, because I understand that it's the why is this going on,
right?
Why is all this happening?
Suspiria is a great film, and its plot is unique. It is just a very unique plot, because there's not a lot of other movies that sort of follow its sort of idea about it, but it doesn't explain itself.
And
very well.
For all I know, maybe it gets explained more in the sequels, but I haven't seen Inferno or the Three Mothers. Three Mothers? Mother of Tears.
Mother of Tears. You know.
So wait, are they actually sequels?
They are linked.
Yeah, I want to say that they have plot together.
I'm actually trying to think of a.
I think.
So,
but I mean, if you're gonna.
So they're like a shared universe.
Yes, they're definitely
so like
shared universe.
Yakuza and Last Judgment.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Odd that you would bring that up.
It's the first thing that really popped into my mind. I knew I could come up with better examples, but for whatever reason, that was the first one to come to me.
I just would have never pegged you as a Yakuza guy.
Little Karibo talks about the series quite a bit.
Well, I have 0 if you want to borrow
Mark
it.
Hamill's
I
in
should
Yakuza.
probably give it a shot.
Really
If I had enough time to. I can barely get through .hack, and I gotta restart that.
Mark Hamill's in Yakuza. It's just amazing.
Mark Hamill is in literally everything.
Another side note, just because I have to, because I didn't notice this until like last week. Mark Hamill voices the Joker, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
In Batman the Animated Series and a few other various things.
Yep.
Arkham is literally in Mark Hamill's name.
Yeah.
Never noticed that before. Okay, that's all.
not coincidence,
It's
yeah.
a not coincidence. Boy, howdy. But the plot, yeah, in my opinion, it doesn't explain itself very well unless you're sort of paying attention. And we were paying attention, or trying to at least. But it's just what it comes down to. It's the action scenes that are great. They're awesome. And sort of the exposition is whatever. It's a very mixed bag film, but it's a fantastic because it's visuals, it's setting, it's dialogue. It's very just unique.
It's definitely a film that kind of has a bit of a plodding pace, but when it's in top 4, it is running full steam, like a well-oiled machine.
It is definitely a 70s film.
That's true. That is very true.
It is.
I mean, if the Technicolor wasn't the dead giveaway.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they were using Technicolor well into the 80s, though.
Well, yeah. I mean, but
Probably still using Technicolor.
We use a version.
okay.
of
Let me put it this way. Alien is a 70s film, so
Right.
you know that doesn't.
No, Alien, not Aliens.
I didn't say aliens.
Yeah, he said Alien.
I almost said aliens.
I
had
said
to catch,
Alien.
I had to catch myself.
I heard Aliens.
I said alien.
Well, I heard Alien.
I meant alien, regardless of what I said.
Right.
Listeners can rewind and figure out what I said. I don't know.
I was gonna say Aliens is definitely an 80s film.
Yes.
And Terminator 2 came out in 91. Can you believe that?
When did Terminator come out?
Terminator came out in 84.
Okay.
Just people saw Terminator 2 and was like, that's it. That's 90s films now. That's what every 90s film is.
You are not wrong. I mean, the movie was pretty heavily influential.
Yeah.
Very good film.
I would love to do the
hell yeah.
first trilogy, because 3's not good, but
Yeah, I think once you get past 3, it kind of...
I'd be down for 1 and 2.
Okay.
yeah. Would you be down for Aliens, and Alien 3?
You had me at Aliens. You lost me at Alien 3.
Dang.
I mean, actually, you had me at Alien. Actually, I just watched that a few weeks ago.
How was it?
It was
I've
held up.
only ever seen the first movie, to be
You've
honest.
never seen Alien?
I've said the only one I've ever seen
Oh.
is the first one.
You've never seen Aliens.
I have not seen Aliens.
You should see Aliens.
You should see Aliens,
is-
dude.
I have the whole series, so we totally could.
Okay.
God, do we really gotta watch Alien Covenant? Or Alien Resurrection?
You're the one who suggested that we start with Prometheus.
I would.
Fuck no. Oh, I did, didn't I?
You did.
I would much rather watch Prometheus and Covenant again before ever stepping foot into 3 and 4.
This is a side note. We're already lost the plot. But
What movie is this podcast about?
I think it was BioShock.
Okay.
I'm trying to
the
think.
movie.
I'm trying to think if Prometheus or Alien Covenant. But one of the scenes in the sequel movies is this guy fucking around with an alien with a tube. What the fuck are they doing? Like a worm alien?
I don't remember.
And they're fucking around with it, and it breaks into his suit and kills him. I'm just, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why are you fucking with this shit?
I don't remember that from either of those movies, but I
These
only
people
watched.
are stupid.
I only watched Covenant once when it was hit theaters, and Prometheus I've seen a few times.
Alien has a bunch of people who don't know what they're dealing with. Alien has a bunch of people woefully underprepared for what they're dealing with. Alien 3 has a bunch of people who can't handle what they're dealing with. And then,
Alien 4 has a bunch of writers who don't know what they're dealing with.
And then there's Alien Covenant that's like, you people know exactly what you're dealing with. Why are you doing this?
I think maybe we should rein in it a bit. I mean, maybe wait until we're actually talking about the Alien movies.
Maybe.
We'll get there. We'll get there.
I mean, we haven't even rated Suspiria
Hey
yet.
guys, have you seen Suspiria? It's this movie about.
You know what we should talk about? Mazinger Z.
Put that down. Oh my god. Okay, Suspiria. We've gone off the rails way too many times. Is there any other generalities we need to discuss, or should we move into the recommendations followed by spoilers?
Oh,
territory?
man. God. damn. There is not really a whole lot to talk about on this film.
I think most of the stuff that we have to say about it is going to be in the spoiler section.
Right.
Because then we can talk about specific scenes.
So, yeah, not really. No.
I give it a 7 out of 10.
7? I give it a 7.5. It's fine.
I think I'm good with the 7.5. Years ago, I probably would have given it an 8, maybe an 8.5, but it's kind of cooled on me.
Right. It is, it's a movie of its time. Still very good. I think that is... I think it's my third... I'd say it's...
I would almost like to see an edit of this film that cuts out... Like, for as hard... I shouldn't say as hard as the plot is to follow, but I'd almost prefer a version of the film that just cuts out all the talking scenes. Just get straight to the stuff we're here to see,
Right. I was gonna say, I don't think it would even make my top 30 horror movies of the 70s.
I don't even know what I would put in such a list.
Because I'm trying to think here, because Alien would definitely be one of them. Fucking Christine. No, Christine was 80. Never mind. Carrie, I think, was 79.
I could not. I don't know.
That's like the only Stephen King book that I've seen the movie of.
It's a very good movie. We should talk about some Stephen King movies.
Oh, yeah. You've read the book, haven't you?
Yes.
Much better than the movie. Much
I have to agree with that.
Yeah.
That's a topic
I'm fine with both. I like both. God, let me think. Black Christmas would be on there. Good God.
That's such a good movie.
Why don't you make a top 10 list at some point or something?
I'd love to make a top 10 list of 70s horror movies.
Yeah, go.
Because
do that and put them on your channel or something.
Like Suspiria. Suspiria is a very weird movie. The 70s were a very weird time for horror movies.
Because they were a very weird time for everything.
For everything. But in horror movies, we were just getting out of the 50s mindset of like science fiction and gothic horror, and we were getting into like modern horror with
more grisly horror.
With films like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Deliverance is a horror movie. I consider that a horror movie. I don't know about you guys.
I would. At least that scene. The scene everybody knows.
Yeah. I recently rewatched that movie. It's a very good film. Burt Reynolds is top tier. I'm really sad he didn't do other films that challenged his acting. But yeah, it was a very weird time because we eventually transitioned kind of back into that 50s mindset with Alien, which helped sort of...
But we had much better production values.
Much better production values.
Which is just weird to think that movie was made on a shoestring budget.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
No. What movie are we talking about again?
Suspiria, but I'm actually reining it into like a contextual point.
Right.
Italian horror was kind of weird in the 70s because back in the 70s you had shit like fucking Cannibal Holocaust, which is an Italian
modern classic.
And you had a lot of Italian films were just very shock based.
Mondo.
Mondo.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's just...
I think the 70s was just like the year of exploitation. Or the decade of exploitation.
It was. It really was, because there was a lot of stuff happening. Vietnam was happening. And, like, I think Dario Argento was very smart in reining all of that back in and being like, I'm just going to make horror films. I'm not going to make fucking...
I'm gonna make spooky film.
I'm not going to make a movie that's shocking for the sake of being shocking.
Yeah. I'm going to make a film that's shocking because... It has a reason.
Because it's contextually shocking.
And
it has substance to it. It's not just, here's another shocking scene. Shocking scene.
And that might be Suspiria's greatest strength, is that it's all for the shock value, but the shock value is...
Makes sense.
It makes sense because it is beautifully shot
it's
and
not,
artistically
yeah, it's not
presented.
like fucking... And it's not like one of those Mondo Carne films where you get a fucking guy like Pit Burnett running in with lions and getting fucking mauled. I've seen that video. It is fucking horrifying. Sometimes I wish I didn't see it. It's just this fucking guy running in, like in a 70s film, this guy running into like a den of lions and fucking around with them and seeing what happens.
Oh, okay.
He gets fucking ripped to shreds in front of his, like, on like a family camcorder too.
Gotcha. I haven't.
In front of his kid, in front of his family, and it's like, Jesus Christ, that's why. Why?
I tell you, that'll make great television. Let's put it on the air.
That's the whole 90s Fox mentality.
Pretty much. Throw it on the air. We'll see if it fits.
Okay. Well, I think we're done talking about Suspiria for the time being.
Yeah, Suspiria is a great film. Contextually, it's very weird, especially for 70s standards.
Okay.
So then I guess we move on to the recommendations.
Recommendations. You start.
I'm going to recommend BioShock because it's an atmospheric horror game.
I've heard of that little indie game.
Yeah, it's by a little company called 2K Games.
Yeah,
Okay,
maybe you've heard of them.
Little underdogs.
To be honest,
Someday they'll get recognition.
To be honest, BioShock, it's one of those films that really kind of falls for the trap of just dark and very grisly, but its story is what draws you in.
Yes, BioShock, the film.
This is the second time we've made this joke.
Except the first time it was intentional.
I'm having deja vu.
4 hours of sleep does that to you, people. Leave me alone. The game sort of falls into that trap of mid 2000s. Oh, it's a horror game. It's gotta be dark.
Pity about the ending. It's not very good.
Oh yeah. The ending.
Climax is more. The game's good up until like the last 20 minutes or so, and it feels more like there was studio interference there.
BioShock.
It tells a fantastic story.
BioShock, much like I'm sorry to say, Borderlands 2.
No, BioShock's a way better than game.
No, hold on.
I don't have to apologize for that.
Hold on. No, that's not what I was gonna say. BioShock is kind of like Borderlands 2 for me, because I played it so much that I start the game and I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's play it. And then I get an hour in, I'm like, I have zero desire to play this game ever again.
I've done this too many times.
Do you know how many times I played the beginning of Borderlands 2? 20 times. Because you and I would be like, let's play Borderlands 2. And we're like, all right, do we remember where we are?
Another dead Vault Hunter.
God. I heard that 20 times.
But getting back to BioShock.
Right, I'm sorry, it's just...
Admittedly...
It is the poor man's System Shock 2. No. You got nothing on that.
I haven't even played that, so I can't retort.
Now that I have played both, and like, I remember the first time you showed me BioShock, and I was aware of BioShock, obviously, because it was a mega hit, but I didn't really give it much of a chance until a couple, like last year? I think last year I finally sat down and was like, you know what, I'm going to play this game. And I definitely can appreciate it more, and I wish I had played it earlier. Yeah, even knowing the twist.
I'm not a huge fan of first-person shooter games, and this is one that I have played multiple times because I just really love the story. And it's a lot of the actual game mechanics that make it unique. Like the plasmid system, where you can use different superpowers, basically. And it is a fantastically grim, dystopian underwater city that you find yourself in, and it has quite a few plot twists. The second game...
Minerva's Den. Minerva's Den's really good.
Minerva's Den is really good, but I've only played that once.
I think...
I mean, you really only need to play it once. It doesn't really give you much reason to play it again.
I have one comment to say about this. The laissez-faire state...
Laissez-faire?
Laissez-faire. The laissez-faire state of... what's the...
Infinite?
No. What's the name of the city?
Rapture?
Rapture. I'm sorry. I'm so out of it. The laissez-faire state of Rapture was totally unsustainable.
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw that out loud.
If there's anything Bioshock taught me, it's that if I ever see somebody ring Anne Rind, I'm supposed to instinctively just slap the book out of their hands.
God, Atlas Shrugged is such a terrible book.
I read the Bioshock novelization, and I feel it does really drive home that, yeah, that society is just unsustainable.
People...
For context, the underwater city of Rapture was created with ethos that everybody can do pretty much whatever they want without government interference. And the creator of the city, Andrew Ryan, brought in so many different intellectuals and artists and a lot of rich people who wanted to keep their money, but also wanted to have creative freedom, and put them in an underwater city, and that's basically all they had for a while until they realized, oh shit, we need peasants to actually do the dirty work for us. Mm-hmm. And because of how loose the government was, the peasant class basically became practically slaves with how underpaid they were, or how much some stores or companies would charge compared to basic necessities. And it just became an absolute shit show that when a con artist weaseled his way in, he was able to take the entire city down from the ground level.
Yeah. This is a little political. I don't really give a shit if it is or not. But a government needs to interfere in the market sometimes.
And the irony is
something unregulated capitalism bad.
Not even that.
The irony is that once this con artist got his claws into it, Andrew Ryan was like, okay, now I need to have my government actually interfere with this because it's interfering with my bottom line. And that's when Rapture completely falls to pieces and becomes in a constant state of civil war. It doesn't help that just about everybody has become a drug addict at this point.
Right. But,
due to the genetic enhancement substance called Adam, which is how the plasmids work.
Like I say, the government needs to set up regulations for the good of the common people and not the business owners, because the business owners will make money no matter fucking what.
When I was in high school, they taught us this concept called the Trickle-Down economy.
Oh, Jesus, that joke.
And that is since been disproven, from what I understand. That does not work.
No, we're going into philosophy and socioeconomics here, but the idea of the trickle-down economic theory is that if the rich are given breaks and are allowed to make more money,
they'll give that money to the people who work for them.
As opposed to sending it to offshore banks and just accumulating it.
And becoming even richer than Smog.
Right. It's this ideology, and it's proven fact. This ideology was adopted during the early to mid '80s during the presidency of Ronald Reagan. And I'm not saying it's Ronald Reagan's fault, but he oversaw that, and it created a larger wage gap comparatively to the 70s. And mind you, during the 70s there was a depression. It was
I love the fact that we've gotten to this point in this discussion because we're talking about a bang bang shooty game.
Right.
Throw fire out of your fist. That's how good BioShock is. It has deeper messages that make you go even deeper into its story and understand society and politics.
To be honest, BioShock is kind of relatable nowadays with the current political climate.
Yeah, as long as you skip Infinite.
Well, yeah, especially if you skip Infinite.
I think Infinite had a good story. It wasn't a very fun game.
It fell apart under scrutiny.
Yeah. It had some really...
Whereas BioShock didn't, for the most part.
No.
Like, I've only played Infinite once. I played Burial at Sea. That was probably better, but... it's probably why there hasn't been a fourth Bioshock game.
Well, also because Kevin Levine... Oh, wait, yeah, he left and he's got his own studio, and they're making something. Apparently Kevin Levine is a dumpster fire and really hard to work with, and all sorts of issues with that.
I made a genre, or I sort of wanted to sort of highlight a genre of like something like Bioshock, and Bioshock is what I would call a societal horror game, because it takes this very plausible premise of a society without government interference, and it sort of highlights the problems with it. And I sort of highlighted it as like, this is a societal horror game because this is something that could happen with society.
It's like The Purge if The Purge were good.
Right.
I mean, not The Purge itself being good, but like the concept of the execution of the film, The Purge.
It's basically a anarcho-capitalist society is what it is. That's what it is. It's an anarcho-capitalist society.
I think at some point we should maybe do a podcast talking just about Bioshock.
Oh, God!
We've clearly got enough things to say about it.
I would love to just start a video game podcast.
I'd love to do... Well, yeah, we've thought about it. I mean, we're trying to get .hack.
The problem with the video game podcast as opposed to like a film podcast is you can slap down a film, watch it in 2 hours, and you got everything you need. Do a little bit of research, come on the mics, and there you go. Podcast done. Just ship it. Whereas a video game, if we're gonna do Skyrim, it's gonna be like a.
We're not doing Skyrim. We're not doing Skyrim.
Oh, God.
I think we'd have to.
We would almost have to say like no game that's longer than 20 hours.
Right.
Tops.
That's what I was going to say. We'd have to set a time limit for games. No game that it takes you a fucking week to finish, unless you're just lazy.
Or just don't have very good time management.
Like Fire Emblem, I would never have us do a Fire Emblem game, because knowing me being the person that I am with Fire Emblem, I'm very OCD. Well, a little side note, with Fire Emblem, I want all my characters leveled up as much as possible, and I want them all alive, and I want every character...
No, you're talking about a post-awakening Fire Emblem.
Post-awakening.
Obviously, you cannot do that in the earlier ones.
With the Radiance games, the Radiance games, I'm the other spectrum. I'm on the same spectrum, but I'm like, if a single person dies,
I swear I'm gonna take this GameCube. I'm gonna throw it in the trash.
All right, I'm gonna start reining it in.
All right, reining it in. Bioshock. Are you done with your? Is that everything we need to say about your recommendation?
Basically, yeah.
All right, Tanner. Tanner's recommending Fire Emblem.
No, God, no. I had a thought. This one's a thought. I don't think we've recommended it on the podcast before, but if we're going horror games, Sweet Home. Sweet Home.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it?
What's Sweet Home?
Is
it made by Capcom?
Yeah.
Does it have anything to do with Resident Evil?
Yeah.
Is it like a Luigi's Mansion in that there's a vacuum cleaner?
Yeah.
Never heard of it.
I take back my recommendation, Luigi's Mansion. Why don't I have those games?
If Luigi's Mansion's taught me anything, it's to slap the Anne Ryan books out of anybody.
God damn it.
Luigi's Mansion's taught me anything, it's that capitalism is bad.
Fucking Luigi getting a big cold mansion. Look at this fucker.
He doesn't even need it!
I'm pretty
2 hours later. Okay, all right, your recommendation.
Sweet Home. Yeah.
Sweet Home, right.
Okay. Sweet Home. It's a 1989 role-playing game, much akin to like Final Fantasy and Dragon Warrior, but like the best RPG on the NES.
Should also mention that it's a straight-up horror game.
It's a straight-up horror, like...
Hold on a second. If this game is so good, why come I've never played it?
Because it was only released in Japan because it was a tie-in for a movie that was only released in Japan.
Stupid Japanese, we never get the good stuff.
Yeah.
This is true.
Sweet Home.
This man speaks the truth.
Like,
stop stoning him.
Like when it comes.
Why are you laughing?
Ow! When it comes down to role-playing games in the early days of its genre, you had on the NES, you had Final Fantasy, which is a very good game, aged fucking shit. Dragon Warrior, aged even worse.
No, that is not true.
I am going to fight you on that topic. I fucking love Dragon Warrior.
Dragon Warrior is a treasure, even the original one. I don't think I'd play the NES one.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, you had to bring up Dragon Quest. It's like Nikki just played through that.
Okay, no, I'm not. Okay, not Dragon Quest, Dragon Warrior. The first,
okay, sure.
The first one,
the NES one.
NES version.
The NES one, I would not go back.
Aged like milk. Milk sitting out on a hot summer day.
I'd still play it.
I mean, it was the first JRPG, wrong.
No, it wasn't. But
it would be highlight.
And then
right?
No, the first JRPG.
Fucking highlight.
Let's talk about the origin of a genre. No, it was recently I found out that the guy Hank Rogers, the guy that was involved in all the Tetris licensing and stuff. Mm-hmm. One of the first games he made for the Famicom is generally considered the first JRPG. So it's just weird that a guy named Hank invented the JRPG.
Anyway, getting back to
that reminds me of Bases Loaded, where all the names are Americanized, but they're not American names at all.
What are they, Gundam names?
No, they're just like
Amuro Ray, Sliger Law.
Even worse.
Uso Ewing.
They're like Jet Sadslaw and shit like that. Like.
So it is Gundam names.
Oh, can we get back to Sweet Home?
Sorry.
But then and then later games of the genre, because Final Fantasy 2 and 3 didn't come out. Earthbound almost came out on the NES. And that one has not aged very well either.
I kind of have to agree.
Not unless you got the Easy Ring or whatever that mod is called.
But Sweet Home is surprisingly still very playable. The main premise is a group of five people on sort of like this documentary crew. They enter this abandoned mansion.
Of this famous painter.
Yeah.
In search of frescoes.
In search of frescoes. Frescoes of one Ichiro Mamiya.
I'm not going to lie, I didn't know what a fresco was when I first played this, and I thought they were talking about frescas. I was like, why?
I can't blame you.
Why are they looking for pop?
Why are they looking for carbonated beverages? I don't understand.
A fresco is a wall mural. Just so we're clear. But they get trapped inside immediately, and they're haunted by the ghost of Lady Mamiya.
Also, zombies, worms.
Oh my god!
Suits of armor.
But
it's if Lady Mamiya was haunting the place, then she brought an army of ghosts. This place is haunted to shit.
It's actually kind of explained that a lot of the zombies are actually people who went there and didn't get out. And I really have to talk about this game somewhat ad nauseum, because you actually meet people in the mansion, not just Yamamura, who's one of the side characters. But, you meet people who are, dying.
Or
dead, and they talk to you. You can talk to the spirits or the dying.
And this is what many consider to be one of the earliest survival horror games, and it checks out.
It really does.
You've got limited supplies. You're just trying to survive. Characters can fucking die. And they stay dead.
There's no hotels. There's no inns. There's no Phoenix Downs. If a character dies, they die. And spoiler alert: the canon ending is having 2 of your characters die. 'Cause that's canon with the movie. That's not much of a spoiler, because who's gonna watch the fucking movie?
Anybody who had a passing interest in the game.
No,
not gonna anymore.
Admittedly, the game is far more memorable than the movie ever was.
The game is borderline great.
The movie is...
It's like X vs. Server for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah!
It did way better than the
movie it was advertising.
All right. But, you have to be careful with the game because the game is very tricky and it can really, the first couple of rooms are pretty cakewalky, but then you cross the first major chasm and then the game sort of flips a switch and just starts going hard on you. And there's no shops. All items are procured on site. Which
you have a limited inventory space.
This would be like a really shitty thing to do in like an 80+ hour RPG, but fortunately, Sweet Home is mercifully short in comparison.
What did I beat Sweet Hour and Sweet Home? Sweet Hour. I beat Sweet Home in like 5 hours ish.
Actually, I have to check to see how many episodes of that particular playthrough you did. I
think I did 4 episodes. I would love to do a long run, but at the same time, I don't have the stomach for them anymore. I just don't have the time, and I don't have the patience anymore. It'd be a different story,
if the work situation were slightly better.
True.
Visit our Patreon. Oh, wait.
We don't have a Patreon. But the big gimmick of the game is that you have parties. You can split them between 3 members and 2 members, and you have to split them up. And I would say never leave a party member alone.
Why? Hold on. You're telling me that this is a horror game, and I shouldn't split the party up? I shouldn't?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seems like sound advice.
And each character has a certain item that helps him out. The 3 most important ones, Three most important ones are the vacuum, the med kit, and the key, because those will get you through most of the game.
Why is the vacuum so important?
Because there's just so much fucking glass everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's an abandoned mansion.
And don't you need to, vacuum the frescoes?
Yes, you also need to vacuum the frescoes, which is canon with the movie, by the way. Mm-hmm. That's a thing.
I mean, why else would they bring somebody with a vacuum cleaner?
Right. It's like a special... It's
to vacuum up the ghosts. Have you never played Luigi's Mansion?
Oh,
God
geez.
Damn it! You're not even a real gamer. Get out.
Okay, bye.
I had a thought just now.
Yeah?
Luigi's Mansion is canon with Ghostbusters.
How?
Well, think about it. Both are about sucking up ghosts.
I feel like I'm thinking about this too hard and it hurts.
I think Tanner is too.
I mean, at a glance, it's like, oh yeah, they're totally canon with each other. Mario...
I'm pretty sure the concept of sucking up a ghost with a vacuum predates even Ghostbusters. And I'm talking about the original Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Wait, are we, the movie or the...
The Filmation series.
Okay, the old cartoon.
No, it wasn't even a cartoon. Filmation made a live-action Ghostbusters.
Oh.
Then the more famous Ghostbusters came out, and to try and capitalize on that, Filmation released a series called Ghostbusters, and to counter that, the guys who did Ghostbusters made a cartoon series called The Real Ghostbusters.
Yeah, not those fake ones. I have seen bits of the original Ghostbusters cartoon.
I think we had some of the toys from the Filmation cartoon, though.
Uh-huh. I mean, how else are you going to get out of the marketing?
I've just been silent because I'm just listening to you guys.
Take a nap. Go to sleep. Podcast.
I need to get through this, and then I might need to go take a nap.
I'm starting to reconsider whether or not we should even talk about the rest of the movie, considering how far we've already gotten.
Well, I tell you what,
recommendation.
Hey, listen.
I tell you what, if you're done with your recommendation, I don't have one this week, so we can jump right into
Sweet Home. Definitely play it once if you like it. Try it again. Gotta go for that high score. There's no high score in it.
Gotta go fast. All right. I would love to see a speedrun of that game at GDC or GDQ.
Oh my god, dude, Sweet Home on GDQ. That would be very difficult.
I would love to see that.
Because you'd almost have to TAS it.
Nah.
Yeah.
Nah.
Because the random encounters are just...
I mean, they've done like full Final Fantasy games with glitchless runs, getting 100% of the items. So
I guess. Okay.
If somebody can handle that, I'm sure they can handle Sweet Home with a few random encounters.
The good thing about Sweet Home's battle is you only face one enemy at a time. One enemy at a time.
Just like Dragon Warrior.
It's just...
What? It's just like Dragon Warrior.
I'm doing the math, and I'm pretty sure he's right.
Pretty sure I've never fought more than one enemy in Dragon Warrior.
Alright.
At a time.
Whatever. But yeah, Sweet Home. Check it out. Alright, let's get into the spoilers.
Alright, we are now entering the spoiler territory. So, now the segment's called? Did I just invent the segment? Awesome.
Yeah,
it's not even my podcast!
And you're doing so much for it, too!
Yeah, so let's run through this quickly, succinctly. If we need to stop, we can stop. So, like, a couple of days later, Susie...
To recap, Susie collapsed and is now recovering at the school where she's now living because she got kicked out of the apartment.
Yeah, so Susie's living with Sarah now. And she's on this diet. She's on a liquid dry diet.
Doctor recommended diet.
And she seems to be getting affected by it. She keeps falling into deep sleep.
Especially at night.
And she just can't seem to stay. Ow.
Alright, take his wallet.
But,
I didn't learn hypnosis to not get paid.
But
sell his wallet.
But something happens. Maggots are coming from the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that.
Oh, God.
It is terrifying.
This is like the one supernatural element of this movie that isn't actually supernatural.
It's never even explained.
Okay, no, it is explained.
Wait 1 second. Was this before or after the dog?
This was
before.
This was before the dog? Okay. Alright, continue.
But yeah, no. Just maggots start coming out of the ceiling on the dormitory, on the floor that has the women's dorm.
Like, the major part is explained on why. Like, how is it...
Rotten food.
Yeah, rotten food.
Right, but why? How did it get up there?
See, that's
where they were storing the food. It was bad, and that's where the maggots came from.
So
it's like the one supernatural element of the movie that isn't actually supernatural.
See, that on this watch through, I always thought that it wasn't a supernatural thing, and like now I'm questioning it. Like, was it not supernatural? Are we 100%?
It really didn't. The villains of this movie really had no advantage to doing this.
See,
they had to do...
I mean, they don't really have much advantage of doing any of the things they do, though.
They have no way.
Again, it's the whys of this film.
They have all the agency in the world. It's not like, it's not like it's prohibition and there's cops ready to bear down on them.
I just feel that the maggot scene is the one thing that you would expect to be supernatural, and it's just something that happens out of anybody's control.
Right, the reason I'm asking why is, like, okay, if it was bad, why didn't they send it back?
Because they didn't know it was bad until the maggot.
Okay, but then why were they storing it up there? You literally just said, well, they were storing it up there because it was bad.
They were storing it up there, but it was bad. They weren't storing it up there because it was bad. That's just where they were storing the food.
That's just where their
happened to
larder
be
is.
Bad.
Who the fuck does not freeze meat?
I don't know. This is...
Like, I get the 70s were a wild time, but they had fucking freezers. I mean, Rocky came out in 74. That had a fucking freezer.
Well, it wasn't necessarily meat. It could have been just...
Various sundries?
It was meat.
It was meat, though.
Oh, okay. Well...
Anyway, long story short, all the girls and everything, they either go to hotels or they're gathered in, like, one of the dance
Basically
rooms.
A makeshift sorority in one of the dance halls.
Yeah.
And everybody falls asleep, but then there's a shadow behind the curtain.
And see, that's the fact that this shadow is present in this scene is why I think that the maggots wasn't a supernatural event.
Right, I'm not saying it was a supernatural. I never thought it was supernatural at all.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. The fact that the shadow, which almost immediately find out is the headmistress, the headmistress.
Yes.
And how do we find out that this is the headmistress?
Because Sarah's like...
Sarah explains it because she had to, like, share a room with her at one point.
She
recognized
unknowingly.
She recognized the distinct snoring.
It is very much like old person snoring.
Like I said, this is why I thought the maggot scene was completely unintentional and just random happenstance.
I don't know why you guys thought it was intentional in the first place. Well, I never thought it was.
I don't know. This recent watch through has made me question things about like why do they have to?
Right.
I mean, it'll come up again. Mm-hmm. Okay, so.
But it's at this point in the movie.
I think it's because it seems like a supernatural event, and we've already seen supernatural occurrences occur, so we just assume that it's a supernatural event.
I'm trying to think if this is the part of the movie where stuff starts getting explained more. Or
Yes.
if it's
Well,
just...
it definitely is the part where
Sarah starts to become active as an expositor.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She lets us
explains
know that, hey, that's the headmistress back there. I can tell from her snoring.
Right. So
Wasn't she supposed to be out of the country, question mark?
yeah. So Susie and Sarah both know the headmistress is here and nobody else realizes it. Right? So then we cut to the next day and it's Daniel coming to work with his good pup.
He's good pup.
Good pup. Good pup. And Daniel
leaves the dog tied up outside because the dog's not allowed in the building, I guess. Mm-hmm. Didn't want to scuff up the floors. Fair point.
Who gives the dog water?
No. I don't know.
Question, you're just leaving the dog out there all the while?
Well, I'm sure Daniel tends to throughout the day.
He's blind, though.
Or it could just be he's only there for like an hour or two a day.
Maybe.
And that's a good point, that you wouldn't want the dog inside a ballet studio scuffing up the floors.
True, yeah. But the long story short of this is
The little boy, Albert.
the little boy Albert does fucking something to it. We're not sure what.
And the dog attacks him.
Yeah,
Presumably.
him and the matron are seen like
Staring at it.
like they're staring at it and
While approaching the school. And the dog...
It seems more like they're approaching the dog.
Yeah.
And then the camera cuts to like the inside of the hallway.
And you hear the faint sound of what seems to be Albert yelping.
Yeah, you just hear a scream, a really quiet scream.
And this is when Miss Tanner goes off on Daniel about his dog attacking the boy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Fires him on the spot.
And it's like, to be honest...
She doesn't immediately fire him. It's when he defends the dog vehemently and saying, there's no way he could have done that she fires him.
And to be honest, like, I don't even know what they were aiming for.
Yeah, this is another of those why, like, it seems pretty obvious that they provoked the dog to do something, but why?
I just kind of was under the assumption that because it's a dog, it could sense evil, and that's why it reacted.
That's my assumption as well.
But it seems like Daniel's been, like, working for them for years.
Right.
Without issue.
I agree. It does not make sense when you actually think about it.
Yeah.
For them to so vehemently go...
And it doesn't even make sense for them to, like, just fire him over one incident. They could be like, all right, don't, don't bring your dog again, get a different dog or whatever.
Something like that.
Something like that. But no, they're just like, that's it! You're fucking done! Get out of here, you fucking animal!
Except less Irish?
Less Irish.
Mostly because she's German.
I'm sorry, I went Irish there for a second. And Daniel's like, freedom! Freedom!
Yeah, he seems
So
to be...
he goes to the bar.
He actually seems to be he's mad that he just lost his job, but he's also, like, glad that he can finally tell off Miss Tanner, because he seems like he's had a lot of pent-up frustration with her.
Oh, dude, she fucking bullies the shit out of it. Mind you, he's blind, and he can't see, and she just fucking...
She takes his cane and throws it to the floor.
Yeah.
Along with, like, his
What a
jacket and
bitch.
stuff. It's just his belongings.
What a bitch.
Forces him to, like, just...
in front of students, too. This is all happening
This is a very public outburst.
Mm-hmm. And I almost want to say that the person playing Daniel, they're either really good at pretending to be blind or they were actually blind, because
I don't think he was blind.
It seemed very good acting then.
Yeah,
because when he hears yells and stuff, he doesn't like look in the direction. Why would he? He's blind.
It's not like he's gonna see anything.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not blind.
Okay, no.
But yeah, he's at a bar. There's a big hey Rube going on.
I'm not gonna lie. When it cut to the bar and the whole Oktoberfest looking festivities, I was like, "The fuck is going on?"
Considering we were watching this on Tubi, you could have been confused that it was a commercial or something.
Except this was clearly shot in the 70s.
Yeah.
What the hell is this doing in the movie? And then it kind of pans over and Daniel's just sitting there. It's like, oh, okay.
And then kick him out of the bar.
It's at least in the way the scene is shot. It seems that way. It's just a lady, probably a barkeeper or something, and she's just guiding him out of the bar. Like he is. Like, was he waiting there for somebody to lead him to the exit? I don't know. I don't know.
I don't get it, because it seems like they're just picking on the blind guy. Going, that's it. You're fucking out.
You've had one too many, sir.
Last call is at 1, but for you it's now.
And by now it is pretty late into the night, as evidenced by the fact that it's dark out.
Didn't seem like it in the bar, but once he's actually outside, it's like pitch black sky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's walking home with his dog.
He's walking home with his dog and he feel a presence around him. And he's just like, is somebody there? Who the fuck's there? And just a bird shows up. And fucking...
Like, are we sure it's a bird? Because they kept cutting to this, like...
Oh, no, it's a bat. It's a bat.
It keeps cutting to this, like, bird statue.
Right. I think it was a bat.
Which seems to just disappear. Which makes me think that it came to life and attacked him. Or something.
No, it didn't attack him.
It was definitely like a statue that just disappeared. It was at the top of this building.
Mm-hmm.
This is like a really like weird location for this scene to be shot. It's like a pavilion.
Yeah.
Like
a courtyard.
This was the scene that made me kind of go like, wait, was this supposed to be like in Nazi Germany? Because like I feel like there'd be rallies held in this area. You know? I mean, I'm sure they have lots of places like that in Germany as holdovers from...
Pretty sure they have lots of places like that.
And I'm sure lots of those places existed before Nazi Germany, just because.
Yeah, the whole Nazi connection really didn't click with me.
Yeah, I just saw the police uniforms and it clicked in my head that this was Germany, and I thought maybe there's some sort of weird like allegory going on here, but I don't think that was the case.
No.
Pretty sure it's just like a plaza.
Yeah. It's just a plaza.
There's no allegory going on here. There's a couple of films where I know there's allegory.
Not in this one.
Not in this one. Definitely not.
So anyway, he gets attacked by this flying thing that we never actually see and knocked to the floor.
He doesn't even does he get knocked to the floor?
He does fall to the ground.
Okay.
No. Yeah, he falls to the ground and he loses his sunglasses. And he has to get back up.
Okay, I don't remember moving sunglasses.
And then our good little pup...
bites him in the jugular.
Just go straight for it.
I was going to say our good pup is not good pup no more.
He went all Cujo.
Starts eating him. And
just like our good friend Benedict
And
Arnold
it's at that point that the police notice something's wrong. It's like, hey, buddy, is that dog eating a dude? We should maybe go do something about it. What do you think? Yeah, okay, all right.
Puts down his sandwich.
Wait, was that
the inspector from the last film?
He didn't even have a sandwich.
I know.
Just the fact that one police officer sees what's going on and decides to inform his next guy before doing anything about it.
And thus the most interesting character in this movie up to this point is no more.
And it's at around this point that Sarah is starting to become even more paranoid. and ranty.
Because she definitely knows things and isn't letting on.
So Sarah admits to Susie that she was the one who did not let.
She was the one at the door the first time she arrived and told her to go away. She was a friend of, was it Pat?
Pat, yep. And she was like, yeah, Pat was acting really weird. In between all this, by the way...
we forgot to mention that
Susie
remembered a couple things that Pat did, that she did catch Pat saying.
Something about secret of the iris, or secret iris, or just secret and iris. Two keywords.
Yeah, and she tells Madam...
She didn't think it was super important at the time because... It was raining. She could barely hear it.
Yeah.
It's only upon reflection that she's like, wait, no, I think I can remember some.
Yeah, and she goes and tells Madame Blanc. And I think that's why they start.
That might be like her whole undoing, per se.
Yeah.
Can we just spoil it? Yeah, they're evil.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. This
the whole thing with the polishing bright thing and shining it on Susie, that was a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something was up.
This ballet
academy
is being run by a coven of witches.
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 I mean, that specific detail doesn't get revealed until later, but
it's pretty obvious there's shady shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, Sarah reveals that Pat left behind a lot of information. And there's even like one scene where, like, when Susie's like half asleep, Sarah is wondering where the staff are going at night, why they're leaving the academy, and Susie's the one to point out that they're actually going deeper into the building, not towards the exit. Mm-hmm. And eventually Sarah reveals, oh, I've got all this information that Pat had. She was onto something.
Mm-hmm. And then, one night the notes disappear.
Except for one thing, which is the directions for where they're going in the building.
Yeah.
Because she wrote it down.
And, man.
But unfortunately, Susie stumbles into her sleepiness, which...
And that is what, spoiler alert, that's what saves her.
Yeah, probably.
I'm pretty sure the wine was drugged.
Oh,
yeah, she was drugged.
The wine that she's been drinking.
Like, I think it was about that point that I realized, oh, they've been drugging her so that she falls asleep.
Yep. Absolutely. All right, so we're at the point where
we get one of the gnarliest scenes.
Yeah, this is another cool scene. The next kill per se.
So Sarah is starting to sneak around the academy, trying to.
Yeah, she's sneaking around the academy. There is a fucking awesome spot that Zach and I caught, and I don't think you caught.
I'm pretty sure I caught it.
But she's walking past like a dark alcove.
Oh yeah, I caught that.
And there's eyes.
You can tell there are eyes there.
There are eyes staring at her.
I didn't catch this. I didn't notice this.
Oh,
it was you two that noticed this.
Yeah, there were fucking eyes.
Like, I'm pretty sure there were closed eyes, but you could tell that there was like, are those eyes?
And then they open. And then a hand comes up, and she turns around, and she gets attacked.
So she retreats into the storeroom, which has like the only exit she can find aside from the door she's just locked, in which whatever's trying to get her is trying to get open with, it's like, I don't know, putty knife or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
It's like a scalper's.
It doesn't look very sharp.
It's like a paint blade. Like a painting.
And I kept thinking, well, why don't you just shove it in and then pull up?
And that's actually what they do eventually, isn't it?
Not really.
No, they never
kind
got
of
in.
Shove it in there and kind of wiggle it around.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, I'm just gonna go like this.
Here's what I think they were doing. They were just. It was the foreplay. It was the foreplay to the kill. They're teasing it.
Right, because technically nobody kills her.
That is true.
Yeah.
But the only exit aside from this door is like a little window, which is a bit high up. So she stacks some stuff on top of it, so that she can climb to the window. And she climbs into the next room, and I saw like shit just hanging on the.
Here's my question: I don't know architecture, but why would you have a window going into another room of the house?
It's a witch's coven.
I mean, sure, whatever. What? Just another Y to throw on the Y list.
This one could probably easily be hand-waved away in that they're witches. They probably, magicked that area up.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, you still don't really see a whole lot of magic, at least until the very end. Or at least, I don't know.
No, not really. But, God, this fucking...
this is great.
Sarah thinks she's made it to safety, and she steps off of whatever she landed on.
She literally looks down and sees, rolls of shit and doesn't think anything of it, and she just dives in.
Well, I think she was jumping to another box on the other side of the room. And
she landed on something, took a moment to relieve herself and decide.
Right, because when she went through the window, there was a box for her to stand on.
Yeah. So she was like, okay, I'm safe. Now
There's
I'm just going to exit. There's the door. I'm just going to exit and razor wire all over the floor.
And it's not even all over the floor. It's half of this room is filled with razor wire. This is the razor wire storage room.
I didn't even know they had rooms that were just dedicated to storing razor wire all over the floor.
Now, it's obvious the wire isn't razor wire, because that would be fucking horrible. But it's the
implication.
The implication of it's
getting caught up in razor wire.
This is the one scene where it's hey, we're not gonna actually show it. We're gonna just make your imagination run wild.
And it does so well with the imagination.
I knew it wasn't real razor wire, so the entire time I was thinking, man, that's gonna probably be a bitch to untangle later.
Right?
Yeah. But I mean, I don't know if you've ever fallen into just a room of razor wire, but you kind of get snagged on stuff, and it's really hard to get out. As Susie
learns,
or is it Sarah? Sarah learns.
Hey, you wanna hear an aside? Not razor wire, but fencing in general. So there's this weird thing. If you've ever been on a farm, they have electrified fences. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? So there's a thing that you can do where if you have a group of people, you take one person's hand, they take another person's hand, they take another person's hand, basically daisy chain each other, and then you grab onto an electric fence. The last person will feel the shock.
Because fuck that guy!
Yeah!
That's actually super dangerous to do, though, because you're running the current straight across your heart.
Right. I know. It's just... Jesus. we would make jumps.
But a lot of when they set those things up, they're not lethal amounts.
No, they're not lethal, for God's sake.
Yeah, no, they're just trying to keep the cattle in.
It's if you have an arrhythmia or something, that can really mess you up.
Yeah, it's like a 5-volt shock. It's okay.
So yeah, Sarah's dead now. Basically.
But well, she finally makes it to the door, and then she sees whoever's standing there, and just whap right across the neck.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
She does get stabbed. Yep, she does. She does get her throat.
She gets fucking sliced and diced. Real gnarly looking, deep, right into the neck, and just
it's pretty visceral. I'm not gonna lie.
So Friday the 13th part whatever it was, one of the guys gets stabbed in the neck and right across it. Think of that, but way more gnarly.
Yeah. It was pretty believable effect.
You see the skin ripping.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
It was just God damn.
It's a great special effect.
But yeah, she's dead, and Susie wakes up the next morning, and Sarah's missing, and all of her stuff is gone.
And the staff are basically saying that she just up and left.
They're completely befuddled. That
we don't know why she left.
Yeah.
What? She left? Oh, we don't know why she left. They don't have German accents.
Susie, vaguely recalling some of the stuff that Sarah was trying to tell her, realizes that something is up, and so she gets in contact with somebody that Sarah knew.
Frank Mendel, Dr. Frank Mendel.
And it was at this point that we get introduced to Dr. Frank Mendel, played by Udo Kier. And for the remainder of the scene, I was trying to figure out why I recognize this guy.
Did we ever figure out what he was in?
I couldn't think of anything that immediately stood out to me.
But basically, Frank Mendel puts the second to last.
Yeah,
piece
the
of the puzzle.
meeting with Frank and the guy he's with basically just provides all the explanation for the remainder of the movie.
And here's the basic, the final piece of the puzzle. The school is founded by a Greek woman named Helena Marcos, who was supposedly a witch, like years before, like hundreds of years before, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And she apparently emigrated to Germany, which is kind of surprising when you... Never mind. If she managed to survive through World War I and II.
Witchcraft.
Right.
Yeah.
But then she also... but then she also talks with Professor Milius,
Who provides even more exposition.
who presides the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for these witches, and he's like, oh yeah, well, a coven of witches, if their leader dies, the rest of them die too. It's like cutting off the head of a snake. Oh my god, I just realized. So that puts into foreshadowing the fucking Olga saying that names that start with S are snake.
Huh.
I did not realize that.
I mean, I was doing my best to try and figure out who Kira was familiar from.
Oh.
And I caught, like, bits and pieces, but I basically understood, okay, Coven of Witches, that's what we're dealing with.
Yeah, basically the summary of these two scenes is witches is afoot.
This is just one scene.
Well, no, it's two, because she's talking to the... she's talking to one guy, and then she talks to the other guy, and that's two scenes.
Yeah, but they're in the same location.
There's a great, like, camera shot where it starts zooming in to the window pane behind them, and it has their reflection. And the way I interpret it as somebody's watching them. Mm-hmm. Like somebody from the school is watching them, but they're not.
But they might not necessarily be there.
Yeah,
physically.
Exactly. But what was I gonna say? Shit. You made me lose my train of thought. Sorry.
Oh no.
Oh, witches is afoot. Well, it better be calling the Witchfinder General. Could be taking away the knaves. Witchfinder General is also a good movie.
Okay.
I wouldn't know.
Anyway, so Susie comes home, and everybody's missing because they went to attend the ballet, and nobody told Susie.
No, they don't go to attend a ballet. They go to a movie.
No, they go to a...
I think it might be about... They go to a theater.
When
they go to the... I guess when they said theater, I interpreted it as everybody went to go see a movie.
When Susie returns to the school, she finds that everyone has left to attend the Bolshoi Ballet.
Okay.
Okay, well,
an event that...
It's Russian ballet, basically, like...
An event that the school completely, like, bought tickets for everybody and just didn't bother to tell Susie.
And that's on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
She gets attacked by a bat.
Mm-hmm.
It just happens.
It was kind of a forgettable scene.
Aside from the fact that it's not even a very good bat.
No.
But like, it's a prop bat that you would buy at around Halloween time to use as a decoration to kind of just fly around the room on a string.
Mm-hmm. But she basically follows Sarah's footsteps and sneaks.
Of course, this is also the same scene that she realizes that the food is tainted, and
Yeah,
I don't even think she realizes it. She just decides she's not going to eat. Well, maybe that's why she just decided not to eat, was because she realized that the food might be.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
She actually just pours the wine down the drain and tries to wash it away. Like, it stuck around like blood.
But, yeah, she retraces Sarah's steps and manages to avoid getting caught by a couple of the...
Oh, yeah, there's a tense scene where there are a couple of matrons in, like, a kitchen area prepping food.
I swear to God, they both look the same.
They are the same god. They look so goddamn like the same person.
They did!
Like, I'm pretty sure you were like, there are two of them?
Right?
They did.
Which didn't surprise me because I saw both of them prepping some of the beds during the whole...
Yeah, we completely missed that.
You completely missed that. I was like, oh, okay, there are two of them.
Yeah.
I would expect there to be more than one matron.
But she manages to get past them.
And goes to Madame Blank's office. And it's here that she remembers She remembers the whole thing. There's a secret with the blue.
She figured out what secret and iris meant, and she recalls that Pat said that something about the secret is to turn the blue iris.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So she goes to a blue iris that's on the wall and turns it, and it opens up a secret door.
A secret door.
And we're not going to talk about any of the plot holes associated with that, right?
Because I don't think there are plot holes.
More just inconsistency.
You consider it an inconsistency. It makes complete sense to
Look,
me.
when we were watching it, we just made a big deal out of the fact that she shut the door behind her, and then the next time you see her go through the door, it's wide open.
And I was like, they probably have a mechanism on the inside to open the door.
Right.
Because it's not like the witches are going to leave the door open in the office in case somebody...
I mean, they're already in there, so they had to have shut it behind them, and then they need a way out. But, I mean, they're witches, they're magic. Do they even use doors? Do they even use walls?
What if Zelda was a girl?
What if Zelda was a girl?
Wait.
We broke him. Shut it down. Shut it down!
Anyway.
He's going critical!
Anyway, Susie legit just walks in on them sort of talking about straight up killing her.
Why?
Because
I assume it's because they realize she knows a lot more than they want her to know.
She knows too much.
And it's like, this is probably the biggest part that sort of weirds me out about this movie. It's like, okay, you're a coven of witches, but like, it's the 20th century. What exactly are you afraid of? You could go out and claim that you're witches, and who the fuck's gonna believe you?
Mm-hmm. That's a good point.
I mean,
you'd probably like ruin the entire credibility of the ballet school. So
Yeah.
Right, that's true.
At the same time, why a ballet school? Why are these witches running a ballet school? Why? What purpose does it serve? Do I need to watch the other movies to get the answers to these questions?
Was I supposed to read the novelization?
I'm not gonna watch the other movies.
I'll watch Inferno. I mean,
Did it explain it in the Netflix series? Come on!
dude, I love if Dario Argento had a Netflix series.
Oh, jeez.
But like of his greatest hits.
Yeah.
But basically, at this scene,
To be honest, I think they all kind of have the same universe.
Maybe.
Because that would explain a lot. Long story short, they're like, yeah, we need to fucking kill her.
We're doing some sort of ritual.
so Susie kind of goes in to this like hidey hole area.
No, what happens is,
Yeah, you're forgetting all about her running into Sarah.
No, I'm just getting to that.
Yeah,
okay.
he was getting to that.
Okay.
But Albert knows she's there.
And
He
so she
he's
says-
dead. He dead ass stares her down.
Oh,
So
did he? I
she-
missed that. I didn't
He
get
sends Pavlos to go look for her.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And
And
here is where I'm going to reveal the thing that I mentioned earlier in the movie. I think Pavlos killed Pat, and I also think Pavlos killed Sarah.
I do agree that Pavlos probably killed Sarah because he has her lighter,
Right.
which in an earlier scene he was shown looking at and
Yeah.
clearly wanting.
Right.
I completely missed that.
Like
That is a good point.
they straight up say, "Hey, you should probably keep an eye on your lighter." It looks like he wanted it, and
Yeah.
and he's using Sarah's lighter to light up the dark hallway while searching for Susie.
Okay. That makes sense.
And this leads to Susie finding Sarah's body, and it's fucking.
It's
There's
it's nailed to whatever this thing is, and there are like pins stabbed into her eyes.
yeah, it's in a bad state. It's in a bad way.
And Sarah,
This is a corpse.
Yeah. This
This
corpse.
is a bloody.
This corpse be corpse.
if this were a point and click adventure, the scene would say nothing of interest.
Yeah. As you bump the mic.
God damn it. It's too dark to see anything.
Yeah. Oh.
But no, this shocks Susie, but not enough where she cries out.
Better yet, it would probably be like ...
It Ellipses.
Ellipses.
Stick that in a Google Translate.
But then Susie finds another door.
You think, I think.
And she goes in and she...
You're old and wrong.
she goes...
God damn it. Cut! Start over.
Go on. No, she enters this secret room. Like this other secret room, and it's adorned.
She just kind of stumbles into it trying to get away from Pablo.
And I can't remember if the door was like fashioned as like a coffin or not.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a great detail.
Oh, yeah. And she spots a silhouette laying on the bed behind a curtain with the distinct snoring of the headmistress.
This is my favorite scene in the movie.
Yeah, this is another good scene. This is probably my second favorite.
Because she knocks over like a adorned peacock ornament
With, like, knives.
with like pins, and
it's like some sort of like detailed like sewing, not sewing, like a knitting kit or something.
But she picks up one and she inches her way towards the bed.
She knocks it over, and
this wakes up the headmistress.
Helena Marcos wakes up, and she's like, "Oh, it's you! I was expecting you."
So Susie picks up one of the pins.
I just
inches her way to the bed and pulls away the curtain, and no one's there.
it's a great trick.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, cool.
And she's like, "Oh, you were going to kill me! You were going to kill me, eh? All right. Looks like I'm going to have to kill you, but it won't be me killing you."
So then Sarah comes in with a knife.
This
pin still in her eyes.
This is just such a cool looking scene.
Because they're setting it up, and Helena Marcos is like, "It's time. You're going to meet death now."
And Susie keeps looking back and forth.
And there's a fucking hand coming through the door, and it opens up, and it's Sarah.
It's so good too because there's like this wild music playing in the background, and as soon as that door flings open, the music just stops.
Yeah.
And then you just get this laughing, and it's just it's so good.
And Susie is befuddled. She's looking back and forth between Sarah and the empty bed. And she spots an outline whenever the thunder is clapping.
Whenever lightning strikes.
And so she takes her pin and stabs whatever is invisible on the bed.
And what was invisible is now visible.
Visible ray. I don't know. Fucking visible pin.
But it was a good enough stab that it actually...
It fucking killed the hell... Well, no, the way I see it is, she was so fucking old that any physical exertion could have killed her.
She could have just...
Probably.
Give her a nice poop on the nose, and...
Her whole face would shatter.
Her whole canal would
could have challenged her to a chess game. Checkmate.
Just shatters into dust.
But yeah, it causes Sarah's spirit to disappear, because it's not actually Sarah. Not even her body. It's just like an apparition of her.
Yeah.
Which I think is not... I don't think that's as cool as if it had just been her and, like, it was actually her body.
I think that would have been more shocking if because it's revealed, like, shortly after this that, like, she stabbed... Helen in the neck. And everybody else now who was in this coven, they're all like grasping at their neck.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all like, "Oh no, we've all been stabbed in the neck."
Yeah.
But I think it would have been cool if like Sarah had like the same reaction, but instead she just kind of disappears.
Yeah. Well, because whatever. It's like it was like a D&D spell that didn't work.
But now that the head witch is dead, Susie has to hoof it out of there because the whole place is coming down.
The whole place starts coming down.
Surprisingly, when you kill the mother brain, it starts the self-destruct sequence.
I understood that reference.
I got it too, but I'm not amused.
Is he wrong though?
He's not wrong, but I'm still not amused.
Also, great effects for like the walls just coming apart.
Yeah, the whole fucking school just
cracking to pieces as Susie runs past.
I have to say this: how fucking dare Susie do this to all of those students, right?
Like, these were students who had dreams and hopes of being, like, world-class ballerinas, and I don't know what... Ballerinas. I'm just going to go with ballerinas.
Ballet dancers.
I'm pretty sure this ballerina is a catch-all term.
Okay. Well, not anymore! Because she destroys the school.
Yeah, the school lights on fire. It starts self-destruct. Like it feels like it was literally held up by the force of magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the end of House of Usher.
Yeah, kinda. Yeah, except not being creepy.
Yeah, well...
Yeah. Except
I mean, it's creepy, but not like in an incestuous way.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Spoilers for that really old Edgar Allan Poe story.
Yeah, but Susie basically walks out of the school, takes one look back, and she's like, "All right, peace." And I assume she goes back. She's going to the embassy, and just like, yeah. So a couple of people tried to kill me. The school's on fire. Like,
yeah. So, lot happened. Long story short, I kind of accidentally set the whole ballet school on fire by killing a woman. Also, she in my defense, she killed a bunch of people.
With that explanation, I think Susie's going to jail.
the chances are she's probably going to the embassy. She's not going to say what happened. She's going to say a fire started.
So she basically pulls a Pat, except without actually having the fear of repercussions.
Yes,
something happened at the school. Oh, it's just the worst.
Turns out one of the maggots was a firebender.
Who knows?
Whoa! That explains a lot.
And it got pissed because it couldn't find the avatar.
Oh my god, all those whys are finally answered.
By the way, Lucas, just so you know, this is not going to be the last time we see maggots in a Dario Argento film.
Oh yeah.
Not surprised.
I guess, yeah.
Although it might be the last time we see them as villains.
Right. No, they're heroes. They undid the villain's plans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're getting there. We're getting. Oh yeah, you know. It's late.
For context, it is currently 9:14 p.m. when we are recording this specific moment. And now we get to the parts where we can complain a bit more.
Yeah, let's complain. I like complaining.
So, why?
Why is any of this why?
Like, I get why they went after Sarah, because she knew information. I know why they went after Pat, because she knew even more information. Why did Pat decide to investigate?
Well, I mean, one can assume that she just stumbled into it. You're talking, like, Pat.
Yeah, Hamill. Yep.
Yeah. My question is, before Sarah had even an inkling of what was going on here, they knocked her out and forced her to stay at the school. Why? What was the end game with that plan? That's what I want to know.
Or you mean Susie?
Or yeah, Susie. Sorry.
It's hard to keep the two on track when they both start with an S.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the snakes. Yeah, why? Why did they, like, what was the plan? Like, I could understand it if there was, like, a subplot going on that maybe, like, the head witch was gonna take one of these young girls and use them as a vessel for her soul or something. But no, there's nothing like that. Nothing like that even hinted at in the movie.
I mean, there's clearly some secret agenda, but we never actually find out what that secret agenda is. Mm-hmm. The only reason why we are given as to why the witches are even targeting the American girl now is simply because they know she knows more than they want her to know. Mm-hmm. And that's entirely because of Sarah and Pat.
But it's fucked up, because it's like, they're the ones that invited her. Like, all of these students, they have to get an invitation to join it. It's like Hogwarts, you know? Hogwarts? Oh, God.
Just without the owls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Like, I'm under the assumption that they were planning to do something with at least one of the girls as part of some ritual, but...
Right, like, you gotta think there was some ulterior motive, but it's never, and never at any point do any of the other students seem like they're in danger.
In fact, I honestly thought Mark was in some way involved, because towards the beginning of the movie, it's explained that Pat was into him, and then she left and wound up dead.
And also that, like, he's living there for free because he's doing a lot of chores for the school.
It's just like...
And it turns out he's not involved in anything.
I think the worst part about this film is that it leaves so many questions in a film that shouldn't be leaving questions.
I mean, did they know this was going to be part of a trilogy when they made it?
Fuck if I know, dude.
That's the only question I have, because if they knew that they were going to answer these questions later in a franchise, then I can kind of forgive it. But yeah, too many just moments where you sit back and once you know what's going on in the movie on a second watch or a third watch, it just kind of falls apart.
Yeah, on the initial watch through, I had no complaints.
Yeah, because
your whole it gets confusing, or it presents it confusingly, led me to believe that the whole movie didn't make sense. But I understood what was going on, and it wasn't until I had a literal fridge moment.
It's not until you get past the moment, and it's not until you start to question the motives of the enemies, of the villains.
Like in Deep Red, we completely understand what's going on by the end of the movie. Mm-hmm. Again, we're not going to spoil that because go watch it. But by the end of the movie, everything makes sense.
By the end of this movie, you like on your first watch, you get it because it's like, oh yeah, witches. Witches are bad. So bad witches. There's the plot.
But then when you actually think, wait.
Okay, so what was their goal? What were they trying to do?
Why was Pat even looking into them in the first place? There's so many questions that remain unanswered.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked up the plot of Inferno, and the Mother of Tears does not fucking explain one. Spoiler alert for Inferno and Mother of Tears. They basically are like, Helena Marcos was one of the three witches. Yeah, was one of the three major witches. That's like, okay, that doesn't explain a lot then.
No.
One from New York, one from Greece, and one from Rome. Mm-hmm. And it's just like,
yeah, it's a weird movie, weird franchise. Definitely worth the watch though because of all the great camera work and the great set design.
I definitely recommend at least watching it once.
Yeah, on its own.
Good. Especially if it hasn't been spoiled for you, because then you won't have these questions lingering.
Yeah.
Whoops.
It's okay. We gave the spoiler warning. They knew what they were getting into.
You are warned.
Oh man.
But yeah, that's Suspiria. Final thoughts.
Definitely watch this movie, but don't think about it too hard.
Yep.
Just enjoy it in the moment, and then regret it later.
Yeah.
Like it's like overeating a lot of good food. You regret it later. But in that moment, you're in heaven.
Digression. I was eating a lot of junk food watching this movie, and I was regretting it by the end of that movie. Which might be another reason why I'm so sour on the movie.
Yeah, Inferno's really weird. I'm just looking at the plot. It really, for lack of a better term, it psychos itself.
The mother did it.
Yeah.
I got it. Every time.
It was the mom.
Every time. All right.
Burger time.
We ready to wrap? We ready to shut down? This has gone long enough.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is this even rivaling Search or Wrath of Khan?
No, because Wrath of Khan was about 2.5 hours.
Okay, well, this is getting pretty close. We're at 2:17, 35, 36.
There was a lot to talk about, though, with this movie and other side tangents.
40,
yes.
41, so, with that
42, 43, 44.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
I'm ProtoMet.
This is Barry.
And I'm VeeJay.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios.